We're going to transition now here on GCR and get back into some basketball talk. And Griffin, you got the video that I just sent you on Twitter. I want to make sure we share this for everybody that hasn't seen it yet, because I know they shared it at the press conference yesterday, and it's made the rounds on social after Maryland announced the hiring of Buzz Williams. There was a really special moment that involves our next guest from after their loss in the second round of the NCAA tournament. The next voice you're going to hear from their post-game press conference is Texas A&M basketball player Manny Obaseki.
That man right there next to Wade, one of the greatest people you will ever meet. He's one of the greatest coaches of all time in basketball in general. And he's changed my life. He's changed each and every one of our lives. And I'm so thankful for him, Coach Buzz. You mean everything to me. I love you. No matter what, I know you're going to be one call away, one text away. And no matter what anybody says, he's one of the greatest. And y'all can't change that. And nobody will change that or take that from him. Thank you.
Joining us now this morning here on GCR, he just wrapped up his senior season at Texas A&M. He is Manny Obaseki, and he is with us on the program. Manny, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's really great to chat with you, man. Thank you so much for taking some time for us this morning.
Man, I appreciate y'all having me, man. Thank you guys for, showing that video and just kind of demonstrating and allowing the people over there in Maryland to see the type of coach you guys are receiving.
Manny, I have so much that this was out of this. Nobody asked you this. You decided that you just wanted to take a minute to say it. Can you take me through why it was on your heart that day to speak the way that you did about your coach?
Yeah. College basketball today is crazy, and it's only going to get crazier. Dudes are in and out of the portal, really only in it for the money, not really in it for the game, for the relationship of the game. And for me to have been at A&M for all 4 years, stick with the same coach, it's not really a coincidence, it's not really hard to tell that the coach that is behind you means something to you if you're willing to do that, especially in this day and age in college basketball. And Buzz has been my rock since I was 18, 19 years old. He's been there for me. He's taught me so much, so many lessons. He always believed in me and allowed me to be myself. And he loved me unconditionally through the good and the bad. He didn't care how many points I scored, how many rebounds, assists I had. He just always wanted to make sure that I was on time for everything and that I gave my all in whatever I did. And you don't really see that in a lot of coaches nowadays in college basketball. And just the impact he's had on all the men, all my teammates throughout the years, whether they were in the transfer portal or whether they stayed all 4 years, was big, was really huge. And it was monumental to our growth and development as men and players. So Buzz means everything to me.
I'm assuming, based on what you just said, that this was not something that you would say was a unique relationship with you. Are you telling me that was the same experience that your teammates had with Buzz Williams?
Yeah, for sure. And, what we had at A&M was special, was super special, especially with all the stuff that's transpired over those 4 years, 4 or 5 years. And it's hard for me to put into words how much of a role model and how much he's just inspired each and every single one of us, whether it's the coaches or the players, managers, janitors. He has an impact and he has his hand through everything in that program and whatever we did. And it's kind of hard to explain just how much he means to me and in the program at A&M.
Manny, I think a lot of people would hear this and say, boy, it's interesting that he left and you're still sitting here saying, and I want to come on in Maryland and tell everybody about how great the guy is that just left the program. Why, I didn't know when we reached out if it would be something that you would want to do, or if you might say yeah, I'm not really thrilled about that. Can you explain that part of this to me?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to help. And like Buzz has always helped me, I'm always going to help him. And whatever him and his family does, I'm always going to be behind him 100% and support him, whether he's here, whether he's at Texas, whether he's at Texas Tech, whether he's at Maryland. So Um, and I really do hope that he's successful over there in Maryland, and you guys have good things to talk about it for years to come. Um, and he's just an amazing person. He's one of the smartest people I've ever met. Um, so knowledgeable, knows the right thing to say at the right time, practices what he said, what he's about to say to anyone or about anything, just so he can be perfect. And me and Buzz, we're sort of like the same people, and he's always kind of understood me better than I understood myself at times. And um, he's such a hard worker. One of the hardest working coaches, if not the hardest working coach in college basketball. And what he's going to do for Maryland is going to be special.
Manny Obaseki from Texas A&M is with us here on GCR. Manny, all of these things that you're saying about Coach Williams, can you give me a sense of how the relationship started? Like, how did you build that foundation and this obviously the beyond basketball personal level, the bedrock of how this all started for you?
Yeah, so I was a sophomore in high school. I was on the Under Armour circuit, played for Moody Elite. I think I was playing up. Um, had a good year, and I remember the second session in Atlanta, and we were. I was just checking. I don't think I was checking into my hotel. I think I was just going up to my room, and I had seen Buzz checking into the hotel. And up to that point, I did a little bit of some studying on colleges and the head coaches and all that stuff. So I knew who some people were, and I didn't know who some people were. And I saw Buzz, and I was kind of like starstruck for a minute. Um, and I remember he turned and looked at me and he said, "How you doing, Manny?"
Hmm.
And I was surprised because I was like, "How does he know my name? Like, how in the world does he know who I am? Like, where did this come from?" And I shook his hand, and he said he'd come watch me tomorrow. I did good the next day. They offered me a scholarship. Fast forward a couple months later, they're recruiting me really hard. And Buzz, you know what I'm saying, he uh he pulls up to Allen. I'm from Allen, Texas. So he pulls up to Allen in front of a Chick-fil-A, and we talk for a good hour and a half, and he's just telling me about um, what he's about, what this program's about, what he's trying to build, what he wants out of it for his players, and I followed suit with it. I believed in it. Um, I eventually committed, and he's taught me so much about the business, the basketball, the work that's required. Um, and I had a front row seat to watch him do it every day. Wake up every day in the morning, get to Lifton, have his meetings with his coaches. Um, he's so disciplined, and he always all he cares about is just staying in a narrow lane. And I'm the same way. And me being able to watch him do that over the course of these 4 years helped me a lot as a person and player, and has allowed me to improve myself and be in the position that I want to be in.
Manny, this is obviously a little bit speculative, but I wonder. I don't know a lot about like the resources that are put into basketball at Texas A&M, right? I know Texas A&M is a place that like puts a lot into athletics.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of people that would want to believe, hey, maybe at a place that's more dedicated, focused on basketball, the quality of coach that Buzz Williams is, he can then like translate that into competing to win a national championship. I not knowing you, maybe there were all the resources in the world at Texas A&M. I don't know, but could you speak to the thought that given what he is as a coach, if he was at a place that was more basketball centric, basketball driven, that might be the place where Buzz Williams could be a championship caliber coach?
One thing about Buzz is everywhere he's went, he's done better with less. And um, and I've heard a little bit about Maryland and their basketball resources and what you guys. I think I got like a $50 million basketball facility being built right now as we speak, or in the process of being made.
Mm-hmm.
Um, NIL and stuff. I've heard a little bit, and all I know is that he's just going to try really hard. He's going to make sure his players are hooked up every night, every day, and ready for whatever comes at them. Um, I don't think I've never really known Buzz to be big on a materialistic resources type of
Mm-hmm.
guy, like always needing more, because he's always done good with less, and he doesn't need a lot. Um, but as I've heard and as I know, the resources that will be provided for University of Maryland when Buzz is there, it's only going to make it better. It's going to be a little bit. It's never really going to be easy because winning at this level is never easy, but it's going to be easy for him to attract more players, allow them to be more comfortable and settle in and be the best they can as players. And with Buzz's fortitude and his coaching pedigree, it's only going to make Maryland even better.
You brought up you're from Allen. I know your family's of Nigerian descent, correct?
Yes, sir.
A lot has been made about Buzz and his Texas background, that he's a Texas guy, and people have questioned what kind of fit that might be in a place like Maryland. Do you have a sense for how adaptable he is to people of a different background, of maybe not quite the same as kids originally from Texas?
I mean, um, Buzz he's done it everywhere he's went. He went from New Orleans to Marquette, from Marquette to Virginia Tech, which is I believe Virginia Tech is right around that area of
Not
Maryland,
terribly far, yeah.
not too far. So I think Buzz isn't going to have a problem with adapting at all. I think Buzz is ready. Um, I think he's more than capable of coaching at the highest level, moving after moving across the country, basically. Um, he's going to be fine. And um, I don't know how the recruiting is going to be a little different. It's going to be a little crazy, simply because we had some recruits over here uh, this past weekend before the news shook up the place, and um, I know I don't really know much about Maryland and the DMV in terms of recruiting and what they're looking for, because I know Big Ten is completely different from the SEC, and but I do believe he's going to pick the right guys. Um, it may not be the guys everybody might expect, but he's going to pick the right guys that's going to be about the right things and that will buy into what he's trying to do for Team Bus One. And you're going to see um, how successful he becomes.
We're in a weird era where I never know how this works. We can't steal some more eligibility for you, can we, Manny? That's not a possibility, is it?
Man, I don't know, bro. You just never know with this stuff.
Yeah, right.
As of right now, I am 100% focused on just training
Yeah, getting ready.
for my professional life.
Yep.
I did hear about um, on April 7th they were going to pass a NCAA versus it was like House versus NCAA on whether or not seniors get a fifth year.
Yep.
I don't know if how legit that is, if it is, um, and would I uh, use another year? I don't know. I don't really know, but it would be cool. But as of right now, I'm focused on just getting ready for what's next. What's ahead of me.
I completely understand that, and I think that's the right way to go about it. Have you had a chance to chat with Pharrell about that at all? Do you get a sense of maybe what he might be thinking about at the moment?
Pharrell. So I haven't talked to Pharrell about it. I've seen him, but I know he's in the portal right now. I do need to hit him up and ask him what the word is on that. Even though I have a good feeling he will go with Buzz. Same with Solo. I have to hit Solo up and see. Well, yeah, Pharrell did have a no contact.
That made us all of us think that had to be the
yeah. He's coming to y'all. I'll be honest, he's coming to y'all. So y'all be ready. Y'all gotta beast with him. Solo, I believe Solo gonna ride with us too. So and y'all got it. There's a good freshman that we had this past year, Andre Mills. He's actually from Boston, elite scoring guard um, who we were really really high on, and we got a couple other good freshmen like Chris McDermott and this guy. I forgot his last name, but it's George. His name's George, and both forwards are extremely talented rebounders.
George Turkson, you're talking about.
George Turkson.
Yeah.
There you go. GRT. So extremely gifted forwards. And I mean, sky's the limit, man. But as far as that's all I know in terms of people that possibly could come over to Maryland, who probably will be coming to Maryland. I mean, if Pharrell has a no contact tag on his
seems pretty likely.
You know what I'm saying? You already know what it is. So.
I get that. Hey, Manny, because you took the time for us, I wonder if because I had a couple people tell me that you've got a phrase that's sort of turned into a brand for you. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Appreciate you guys acknowledging that. It's called Just Keep Going, JKG. Um, it's really just it's my mantra of just never giving up, never stopping. You know, throughout my years at A&M, it was tough. I had a lot of highs, a lot of lows. But one thing that I just never did was stop working, stop showing up every day. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's if you have the mentality and the strength to do that, then you've already won the battle. And a lot of my teammates, were inspired by that, and it kind of became just a big thing that everybody started talking about and started using for their own life. And um, I'm blessed and thankful to have been able to inspire the people around me and the people back at home that know what it's about and use the phrase and mantra. I think during Yale, either Yale or Michigan, the reporter, I think her name was Dana Scott or Dana White or something like that. She put it on and was talking about it
Danny
throughout the game.
Jacobson. Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. Yeah,
It was crazy. I mean, it's crazy. It
that's
was kind of
cool.
crazy to see, just kind of seeing how far it's come and how big it's starting to become. So, hope and it's applicable for anybody, whether you're in basketball, if you're in the radio station, the radio industry, like it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? You as long as you always get up and keep working and strive for something, um, something good will happen and you'll be where you want to be.
JKG, just keep going. I love that,
Yeah,
man. Manny, I know it's. So I was gonna try to pronounce it because I was gonna say people could follow you on Instagram, but I'm gonna let you tell me how to actually spell it out and pronounce it.
all right, now you're good, man. So Instagram is my middle name, Isosa, but I
Okay,
have an X in the middle, so it's AISOXSA.
awesome. Give Manny a follow there, Manny. You got a lot of Maryland fans that love you right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm telling you, got a lot of play this week. They were. I just how genuine I think it was, which speaks obviously not only about Coach Buzz, but I think it speaks about you as
Appreciate that.
well, young man. And I think that was why it meant so much to so many people.
I appreciate
Manny, whatever is next for you, good luck. We
it.
really appreciate you spending time with us this morning to tell us more about Buzz Williams. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for having me, man. I'll be watching the Glenn Clark show now.
Thank you.
So
Thank
keep it
you,
up, man. Good
Manny.
luck to you guys.
Appreciate you, dude. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Manny Obaseki. Obviously, someone who's very passionate about Buzz Williams, and appreciate him taking the time for us this morning to tell us a little bit more about why it is that he cares so deeply about that coach, and he is encouraged that there's going to be other Texas A&M guys that are probably going to come. There's that part of you that feels bad, right? Like that's their problem. You hate saying that out loud, like. You need players.
Had it
That's
happen here.
that's the way that it works. You need players. Chris Jeffrey said he's down to Villanova or Maryland at this point, and I guess Jacoby Gillespie is still not ruling out the possibility of returning to Maryland. It still has seemed unlikely. That one we didn't know how likely it was, even if Kevin Willard was still at Maryland. Rodney Rice maybe is still in play, so we'll see how the next couple of days go. For recruiting as far as Buzz Williams is concerned and building a roster for next